All right. Give me one moment. Now I just realized that I have been on mute. So I'm gonna come back in the shot again. I tell you what, gotta love perimenopause. Welcome. I know, can't hear me. I just realized that. Thank you very much, Nola. So yeah, I forgot to set up the live. I did everything but set the live up yesterday. Gotta love it. So we are getting ready to start. Yes, we are getting ready to start. I'm gonna slide out of frame because what I don't want to do is reverse and then be stuck with a green screen behind me for this hour. All right, so I'm gonna slide out of the screen and we're gonna go ahead and start our deep breathing. And the reason why you want to do this deep breathing is so that you can regulate the emotions and you can let the prefrontal cortex know that we are getting ready to go and learn how to use our brains this morning. Okay, so I'm going to count you down. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to inhale and exhale with 3 deep breaths, starting right now. 3, 2, 1. Okay, back in frame. We're going to get this party started. All right. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas and granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today we are doing cognitive fitness. It is Thinking Thursday. We have 10 different activities. So now will be a time for you to go and gather some note-taking materials. All right, what I'm going to review very quickly are the regions of the brain that you will be using today, as well as the benefits of each activity. So today we're going to do a riddle, and the brain benefit is abstract think. Wait, 1 second. I apologize. Yes. No. Okay, here we go. First, I'm going to tell you what brain regions we're going to use and then give you the benefits. I was at the wrong part in my notes. So we're going to do riddles, and the primary brain regions for this are the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, and temporal lobes. And in the hemisphere involvement, it means you're going to be using bilateral, so the left and the right. We're going to do complete this sentence, and that's going to help with your Broca's area, your Wernicke's area, and your interior frontal gyrus. And this is left dominant from a hemisphere perspective. Next is Nola's favorite, anagrams. And again, you'll be using your interior frontal gyrus. You'll be using your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and your parietal lobes. That will be both left and right hemispheres. Then we're going to do some mental math. You're going to use your interparietal sulcus, your angular gyrus, and your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This is also left dominant. Have a word scramble for today. You're going to use your visual word form area, your interior frontal gyrus, and your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This is both the left and right hemisphere activity. Rhyming words, you'll be using your temporal lobe and your Broca's area, left and right again, so that'll help with your bilateralness. Left plus right, so more dominant on the left. Story problems, which was one of my favorites in school. Dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the angular gyrus, and the medial prefrontal cortex. This is going to support your bilateralness. Curious questions, one of my favorites. You'll be using your ventromedial prefrontal cortex, your anterior cingulate cortex, and the hippocampus. This will also strengthen your bilateralness. Acronyms, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, Broca's area, and the temporal lobes, left plus the right, so more left than right. And then finally, a self-reflection question, always self-reflection because you spend more time with yourself than anybody else. And when you're by yourself, you're in your default mode network. You need to be self-reflecting, not daydreaming, mind wandering, or ruminating with that left amygdala. So self-reflection, you'll be using the medial prefrontal cortex, the insula, and the prefrontal cortex. And it is left dominant with a little bit of right. Now, here are the benefits of these activities because you won't do anything over here without the brain benefiting. And so with the riddles, the brain benefit is your abstract thinking and it's going to give you insight. When you complete this sentence, you are using language fluency and syntax. When you are doing anagrams, it is word patterns and mental rotation. Mental math is reasoning and is strengthening your working memory. Word scrambles is visual spelling and pattern recognition. Rhyming words is a sound play and fluency. And story problems are your comprehension and your logic. Curious questions are your curiosity and your memory. And acronyms are your semantic creativity. And finally, when you use one word, the selective reflective words are giving you self-awareness and insight. Now, what I think is interesting is as I continue to say what we were going to work on, and normally I'm not paying attention to the number for the brain, is the drop off as I kept saying more and more brain words. I thought that was interesting. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and gather some note-taking materials if you have not done so. Again, I apologize. I believe that I had set the live up and I didn't, so you did not get the notification. You just got the notification that I am live, not that the live was upcoming. So I need to check that. And normally I am better about that. Today is day number 656 of me going live consecutively. So I'm going to give myself a round of applause for that. Started on TikTok and now I'm here. Started on TikTok and now I'm here. And I don't even really like Drake, but there we go. Okay, so, and make sure that you have water because you will be using your amazing brain today. And your brain is 75% water and it needs hydration. So you need it, especially if you're on the West Coast like us. And some of you just woke up. I've been up 2 hours and some change now, 2.5 hours. And so you slept. And as a result of that, you can wake up and already be thirsty just by sitting and sleeping. Okay, he didn't write the song. So, okay, cool. I can say it then. I forgot he had ghostwriters. All right, because he's not a real hip hop person. He's not a lyricist. For real. He's not an MC. He's a rapper. He is a rapper. He's not an MC. MCs write their own rhymes. I'm old school. Okay, I digress. All right, so we are ready. So thumbs up if you are completely participating. Give me a thumbs up so I know who I'm speaking to this morning. First up, number one, numero uno, eins, is we are going to be doing a riddle. So go ahead and give me the thumbs up so I know that you are ready for the riddle. You are ready for the riddle. And I'll slide out the shot again so you can see my amazing graphics that I made. The cognitive fitness is sitting up there, let you know what regions you're using. And Thinking Thursday. And the brain bit today is making up your bed. All right, Nola, it is you and I. Solo dolo. Okay, so this is a riddle. What begins with a T, ends with a T, and has T in it? What begins with a T, ends with a T, and has T in it? Oh, and I need to set my timer. 1 minute on the clock for you. What begins with a T, ends with a T, and has T in it? 10 seconds has passed. Thirty seconds has passed. What begins with a T, ends with a T, and has T in it? I'm not even going to try to drink my coffee right now. T. Okay. Begins with the T, ends with the T, and has tea in it. A glass of tea. All right. 1 minute. Very close. Teapot. So teapot begins with the T, ends with the T, and it has tea in it. So it's Teapot. Begins with the T, ends with the T, and it actually has tea in it. So teapot. All right. Number 2. We're doing complete this sentence. Yes, I thought that was a good one. Number 2 is complete this sentence. And all right, let me see what this message is. Okay. Let's go ahead and report this person. And let's go ahead and block you. All right. Okay. Got it. It's amazing. Perverts wake up early for nonsense. Okay. Complete this sentence. I'm going to give you the beginning of the sentence, and then you will complete this sentence, and you will have 1 minute to complete this sentence. So complete this sentence. Normally in the morning, I blank. Complete this sentence. Normally in the morning, I blank. You have 1 minute to complete the sentence. And I think this is going to be too hot. Mm-mm-mm. 30 seconds has passed. The sentence again is normally in the morning I blank. And Noah's response is normally I wake up at 5 a.m. Okay. Let me check one thing before we go to the next one. The next one is going to be anagrams. So prepare. Okay, cool. That part worked. Okay. So the next one is we are going to be, and I need to be on here anyway. I just realized that. We're going to do anagrams, and I'm going to type the word in so you can see it. That should help you better with this. Okay. It should be popping up. There we go. So you're going to have 1 minute to make listen an anagram. And so, yes, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 potential options that I have. And you have 1 minute to anagraminize. Anagraminize the word listen, starting now. 1 minute on the clock. Anagram listen. An anagram means that you use the letters and make different words, new words from the root word that you've received. Still too hot. Too hot. Too hot, baby. Gotta run for shelter. Gotta run for shade. 35 seconds have passed. Listen is the word available today. $50 seconds have passed. And time. What do you have? Listen. Listen. Boom, boom, boom. Silent. Very good, Miss Nola, because that's something that is a learning opportunity for you. So yes, silent is an answer. Enlist, ENLIST. Good morning, Lola. We are doing Thinking Thursday. Yes, let's go. So you have silent, enlist, inlets, those little things on your boots, INLETS, and tinsel, TINSEL. So 4 words available. I'm sure there are more options out there for people who are anagrammatologists, but silent, enlist, inlets, and tinsel. Okay, next up on the scene, let me reset my clock. Stop, and I made it up. There we go. Okay, so we are going to be adding 3. For those of you who are new to adding 3, I am going to give you 4 single-digit numbers. You are going to add 3 to each individual number and say that number backwards. What this does is it improves your working memory. Working memory, most people can hold between 4 to 7 things in their brain simultaneously. That's why phone numbers used to be 7 digits. And what the working memory does, the better your working memory, the more things that you can operate with at the same time. So you can have, let's say you have a to-do list with 7 things on it. You can do the priorities of work of which items you're going to do in which order by using your working memory. So this helps you with that process. It strengthens your working memory. So again, the instructions are, I'm going to give you 4 numbers. You are going to take the number 3 and add it to each individual number and say your answer backwards. And in fact, what I can do for you today is, as soon as I get, because I'm operating in 2 different things, I'm going to get, I think that YouTube will let me put these numbers in separately. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't do it, was because it wasn't letting me send it. So we will see. So when you see the number, you're going to have 30 seconds to write your answer in. And there's the number, 30 seconds. You're adding 3 to each individual number, and then you're going to type your response. $20 seconds. Okay, Lola and Nola have their answers in. Let me stop and reset. That's correct. 8794. 8794 is the mental math for today. So good job to both of you. Now, next up on the agenda is the word scramble. And so I'm going to hopefully give you the words without my phone, my tablet telling me that this isn't a word and it will not let me type it. So let's see. So the word scramble is this, just like back in the day. I'm 52, so Soul Train used to come on Saturday. And at one point during the show, they would go and he'd say, hey, how y'all doing out here? This is Don Cornelius. And who do we have here today? They would interview the couple standing there. And then while the song was on, they would be moving the words around and they would get the answer by the time it was on. You give them a clue. Sometimes it was the song that was playing or something to do with the song, if I'm not mistaken. I was a kid, so got to go back 4 decades to get that part right. Anyway, they would then tell you what the word is. So word scramble, I'm going to type the letters in, and then you will turn the word into a word. You will have 30 seconds to do that. So the word scramble is going to appear now. It should be. And you have 30 seconds starting now to make this a word. And we will be finishing early today. $20 seconds has passed. And time. Okay, yes, that is correct. Give yourselves a round of applause. So the word scramble is plant. Now, one thing about it is word scrambles, what you'll find is that when you get to more letters, so your working memory is allowing you to process 5 letters because you did listen, which was 5 letters, and plant, which was 5 letters. And if I add, next time we do this, if I add a 6th letter, you may or may not be able to do it. If I add a 7th letter, so what that tells you is your working memory can hold and process 5 different concepts at the same time. So that's how you take this exercise and see what it is, how much you can process at the same time. So if you have 6 different things on your playlist at the same time, but if you have on your to-do list, if you have 6 different things, you might find yourself trying to figure it out, and it might be simpler or it might not. And by the time you get to 10 things, if you get to 10 things, then that means that you can't process that amount of things at the same time. One moment. Okay, next on the list is words that rhyme with. So we have words that rhyme with, and you will have 1 minute. I will type the word in. I believe that is more beneficial so that you can see it. All right, you have, starting right now, 1 minute. The word is brain. And my post-it is empty, so let me see how many I can do. $36. And 57 and 60. All right. Reset my clock. And Lola has grain, train, and gain, train, and plane. Nola has lame, drain, gain, blame, pain, shame, fame, reframe, refrain, sane, and lame. Okay, good job for you, Nola, because we know that you will put a Mississippi word in there that ain't got shit to do with the actual word. So you have been successful this morning, and all of your words actually rhyme with the word. So the words that I have are strain, gain, retain, sustain, maintain, drain, entertain, constrain, low main, remain, fontaine, germain, and slain. So that's awesome. All right. Get your pens and pencils out because we now have my favorite in elementary school, word problems. Still don't like them, even as I'm making them, not having fun with them. So I'll read the question twice, and then you will have 1 minute. I do not believe that it will take you 1 minute to solve it, but I will give you 1 minute. So you have 1 minute to solve the story problem. And here we go. Wesley has $7.39. He buys a combo meal for $6.87. How much money does he have left? Wesley has $7.39. He buys a combo meal for $6.87. How much money does he have left? 1 minute on the clock starting now. Excuse me. Lola's answer is here. 20 seconds has passed. Nola, you might want to go check your work. The numbers are $7.39, and the meal was $6.87. 35 seconds has passed. He has $7.39, and he spent $6.87. 45 seconds has passed. 50 seconds has passed. And time. All right. So yes, the answer is 52 cents. He has 52 cents. And back in the day, he would have literally had $7.39 in his pocket, and they would have gave him 52 cents back. You was trying to do mental math. Got it. But now it's all on the card, and that's how much money he had in the bank, on his Apple Pay, on his Google Pay. So there you have it. Okay. Number 8 is a curious question, and you will have 1 minute to decide. And part of the reason why I'm making everything 1 minute today is because sometimes all you have is a minute to decide. And Palm Pay too. That's right, I forgot. Palm Pay is at Whole Foods, first place we saw it. So part of the reason why everything is 1 minute today is because sometimes you only have a minute to make a decision, and you need to train your brain to be able to make decisions in the moment, or be able to sleep on it and think of it over time. So you can write the pros and the cons, but sometimes it's a split-second decision. So you need to be able to do both. So if you think about weight training, sometimes you do less reps, less weight with more reps, and then sometimes you do powerlifting. Both increase the strength of the muscles. So that's what we're doing today. So next question is, you're going to have 1 minute to answer this question. And the question is, what would the title of your opera be? So if you made an opera, what would the title be? 1 minute on the clock. What would the title of your opera be? Starting now. Twenty seconds has passed. Can? Awesome. Forty seconds has passed. 50 seconds has passed. And time. So can is Lola's answer, and Nola's answer is Life Out Loud. And my answer would be Brain-tastic. And it will be all about, right, and that's the whole point, is now you will probably go research what are some of the names of operas. So, and it just came to me yesterday while I was writing my notes down. Mine would be Brain-tastic, and it will be all about the brain. And it will be sung in German. So that would be funny as hell. And you'd be like, neuroplasticity, yeah! I just cracked myself up. Okay. All right. We are coming around third. We are definitely going to be finished sooner than later today. This is awesome. All right. Now, your favorite and mine. And notice I do not have anything on my notepad. We are getting ready to make a wonderful acronym. Always great. So I'm going to give you the word. And then you and I both will have 1 minute to, hold on. There we go. All right. So here is the word. And we all have 1 minute to make the word slice an acronym. Slice is an acronym, starting now. 30 seconds has passed. Forty seconds has passed. 50 seconds has passed. And time. Now I gotta give me one moment so I can type mine in. Okay, I can't get it. I think I did it like you. All right. Noah said cell learning in controlled environment. Yes, ma'am. And then I have set life into compartments efficiently. And good morning, Jessica. Slice, silence life, information, cost, and effort. And then Lola, I'm not that strong in that area. That's okay, Lola. You can start with smaller words. You can start with 2-letter words. You can start with 3-letter words. And so now you know what's happening is this is taking place in your orthographic process centered in language, the regions that I mentioned earlier in the live. And that's okay because Nola, the good news is Lola, Nola was not good at this and now she is. So you just have to practice it. You can practice it with 2-letter words, at, on, go, no, and so, S-O, not S-E-W. And then move up to 3-letter words and then 4-letter words. And you can do it that way. Because what's happening is, and this is what was taking place for Nola, is like she said, I think I did it like you. Because I have the ability now, because I've been in the military in Frito-Lay, to make the word the acronym for the word. So set life into compartments efficiently is slicing up your life and putting it into these compartmentalized areas and doing that efficiently. So because I've been doing it for so long, my acronym usually matches the word. But I had 15 years between Frito-Lay and Army, supply chain optimization is SCO. So I was used to doing it, and plus the 8 years in ROTC. So initially, just think of two-letter words and 2 words. And then as you keep doing it, you're going to, because what's happening is the neurons aren't wiring and firing yet. So by doing it with 2-letter words, you're going to get them to fire, wire, and connect. And then you keep doing that, and then you'll be able to add another letter and another letter. And then over time, it will then be second nature because all you have to do now is that you don't have this neural pathway. So you just need to create the neural pathway. Since you have 86 billion neurons, ain't no thing but a chicken wing. But do start with just 2-letter words. And you have chat, so do 2-letter words. Just ask chat for a list of 2-letter words, and then just make acronyms out of those 2-letter words. Then ask chat for 3-letter words, and then you just make acronyms out of those 3-letter words. Okay, great. All right, so let me know if that's clear to you, Lola, but have no fear. Dr. Donna is here, and so are your 86 billion neurons. I got strategies on strategies on strategies. And the good news is, like I said, Nola struggled with it, and that's not something that she was good at all. She just nailed it today, which is why I have to do this format at least once a month, because last time I did it on July 31st, because that will give you the momentum and the fire and wiring of those neurons needed. All right, the last activity for today is use one word to describe your work ethic. And you have 1 minute. Use one word to describe, and be honest, to describe your work ethic. Okay, starting now. One word to describe your work ethic. 20 seconds has passed. 40, now 40 seconds has passed. 50 seconds has passed. And time. Let me go back to the clock. And give me 1 second. Okay. And so I would say otherworldly for myself because it is like, and Jessica said loyal. Okay. I'm saying otherworldly because if you tried to, if you tried to work with me for more than 1 day, you would be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that shit. First of all, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm out. I'm tapping out. And now I have no screen time whatsoever other than me going live and posting on social media. So no music, no, I actually am listening to Tibetan monk music right now. So it is silent, 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 silent. That silence would probably drive most crazy than the amount of work that I have to do and reading and working with Nola and it's hot outside and all these other things. So I'm going to say otherworldly. All right. What questions do you have, if any, about the activities that we did today? I'm getting ready to go into the brain bit for today as my Gmail will cooperate. I know, right? Look at okay. And y'all had the same word too. That's great. Y'all do similar work too. I mean, we don't build houses, we build stuff. So Lola's at a higher technical competence level when it comes to that part of the work. But yeah, it's still dirty hands, clean money. Okay, so I'm gonna slide out the way momentarily. Look at my beautiful graphic. I feel like Vanna White right here. And the brain bit for today is making up your bed. You use between 10 to 12 brain regions in making up your bed. And that explains why people don't make their bed up every day. Make your bed up every day. Every day, every day. And here's why. And what's his name? The Admiral from, and I read his book too. It is called Make Up Your Bed. And there is discipline to making up your bed. But here are the brain regions that you use when you make your bed up. So number one is the whole concept of motor planning and coordination. And here are the 4 brain regions that you're using to perform that act. You're using the premotor cortex and the supplementary motor area, which is in the frontal lobe. And so this allows you to plan the sequence of actions, pulling the sheets, tucking the corners, and placing the pillows. Next, you use the primary motor cortex, and that sends signals to the muscles for precise movements. So remember, every time you move, you are using different regions of your brain. The cerebellum coordinates the balance, the posture, and the smooth execution of the movement. So you're not falling on your bed or falling on the floor or falling against the headboard, kicking the footboard in my case, while you're making your bed up. And then the basal ganglia helps automate the routine if you make your bed daily. So when I get up, I make my bed up. Get out of my bed is made up. I take a nap, I pull everything back, or I sleep on top of the comforter with a blanket, depending on how quick the nap is. I get out of my bed after my nap and I remake my bed up again. So that when I go to sleep, I just turn my bed down and go to sleep. So I could make my bed up 2 times if I take a nap in 1 day. So those are the regions. Again, the premotor cortex and the supplementary motor area, the primary motor cortex, the cerebellum, and the basal ganglia. And that's just in the motor planning and coordination of making up your bed. The next section is sensory processing. And there are 3 regions that you use for sensory processing. You have and I keep trying it, somatic. Yeah, somatosensory cortex, somatosensory, that's what it is. Somatosensory cortex, and that's in the parietal lobe. That processes your feeling of touching the sheets and touching the pillows. Then you have the occipital lobe, which is your visual cortex, and that guides your hand movements by seeing the bed's layout. And then finally, you have the parietal lobe, and that's the spatial awareness. So it helps you judge corners, symmetry, and alignment. So sometimes I kick my footboard because I didn't have my spatial awareness when I came around the corner of my bed. And my toe does not like that. Next is the attention and execution functions. And so there are 2 brain regions for that. The prefrontal cortex, it organizes the task, it keeps your attention, and it ensures that the bed looks complete. So if you have half the bedspread on the other side of the bed, 2 pillows on the floor, 1 pillow on the bed, the prefrontal cortex is going to say, the bed is not complete. And then the anterior cingulate cortex monitors mistakes. So again, if the sheets are uneven, if the bedspread is lopsided, if the pillows are upside down, if the pillows aren't on the bed, it's going to tell you if they're not lined up and they're half on the bed, half off the bed. That's what those 2 regions are going to do. Next is the memory and habit formation. And so the 2 brain regions that are responsible for this is the hippocampus. So it retrieves memory on how you usually make up your bed. And that's important. And then the striatum, which is part of the basal ganglia, stores the habit so it becomes automatic over time. I have had the pleasure of making up my bed. I cannot remember a time in my life when I have not made up my bed. When I was a kid, my mother bought us those hideous ass Holly Hobby bedspreads with the seam on it. And so I would get yelled at because my seam was crooked with them fucking ruffles at the end. Then I had the pleasure of being in the military. And at that time, if a quarter didn't bounce off your bed, it means your bunk wasn't tight enough. So you found your bunk on the floor and you found you and your battle buddy, lifted it back up. I was always on the top bunk. So you got to get the mallet to hammer that thing back down. So I learned how to make a bunk and flip that damn quarter. So that was an interesting time. So I've had some bed making trauma in my life, but in hospital corners too. So you definitely I always have a 45-degree angle on my sheets, because that's how my aunt made me. When I had to live with her for 4 months, I had to do hospital quarters. In the Army, you have to do hospital corners. And so that's that. Okay, next is the motivation and reward. So that is the ventral striatum and the nucleus accumbens. So it provides satisfaction after finishing the task. So after you finish making up your bed, you feel satisfied. And then the amygdala can contribute to emotional empowerment. Making your bed may feel calming or disciplined. So people who don't make up their bed, they say it makes no sense. I don't need to make up my bed because I'm going to just get back in it. And to them, I say, well, why are you taking a shower? Because you're just going to walk outside and get dirty again. So if you're going to get dirty again, fuck showers. Don't take a shower. You don't need to take a shower. If you don't need to make up your bed because you're getting ready to get right back in it, why do you need to take a shower if you're going to get back dirty again? See how that don't make no damn sense? Okay, so what questions do you have about the brain regions? So think about it, 10 to 12 regions to make up your bed. This is the most amount of regions that we have talked about in these day-to-day routine tasks that you're not thinking about. They're just happening and you're just doing them. And my question to you, be honest, do you make up your bed every day? My head is itching. Okay. This is bothering me. How many regions do we have? I know you said it before, but yes, I try to make my bed. 10 to 12 regions of your brain to make up your bed. That's what's taking place. 10 to 12 regions. And so making up your bed every day sets the intention for the day. 10 to 12. So that's what I was having this conversation with Nola yesterday as we were coming home, I think from our second appointment. And here's the thing. And I've been thinking about this, and specifically for you, Nola, not Lola, Jessica, because you still have children that are school age, and you've said this behind the scenes. I thought about it, and Nola, my daughter, has been to every type of school except for private school. And she could have gotten a scholarship to the best private school here, Meadows, but she didn't want to wear a uniform because girls had to wear skirts. She's part of the Liggett Battalion. She didn't want to have to be stuck wearing a skirt. So her answer was no. Very good school. But so other than private school, she has been at every, and not charter schools. So magnet schools, schools in different areas, urban environments, schools in the area with rich students and all of that. And Lola said, I make my bed every day, all day. My bed is still made. Yes, got it. And so here's what, and thank you for that, Lola. And so here's what I'm saying to you, Jessica, specifically, because I know you have school age children. What I thought about yesterday is I said this, and I have a doctorate in education, so I get to say this. School doesn't work. Okay? I'm saying it publicly. School does not work. School was designed by, I think, Rockefeller and them for people to go to a place, get used to being in a place to create a workforce, a competent, skilled labor workforce. And that's why nothing that you use in school, unless it's math, unless you go be a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer or something, it doesn't work overall. I've never used the Pythagorean theorem in any of my professions at all. I've never had to use Shakespeare. I wasn't in the army saying, damn, to be or not to be, whether it's his noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortunes to die and speak no more. No, never used it. And so what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter. As long as your children end up at school, not unfortunately having a pew-pew situation happening, and they come mostly unscathed from stupid ass bullying that takes place, it's useless. Past elementary school, the rest of the school system is useless, and here's why. People, you can't tell what school someone went to. We can look at a person, just like we had a plumber come to the house the other day, and he said, I was talking about sports. He said, did you play basketball? You look like you played basketball. I said, no, I ran track. He's like, I knew. I could tell you was an athlete. So we can look at people and say, we had a client the other day, we said he was on somebody's football team. So we could physically look at somebody and say, this person probably did that in school. Sometimes we'd be right, and sometimes we would be wrong. But if you just sat people, and we've literally been to people's houses who have went to the Ivies, and if they did not have their diploma on the wall in their room, in their office, we would have no idea what school they went to. So it's bullshit when people say schools matter. We see people with USC on the back of their license plates, a lot of California people here, and unless they told you, we wouldn't know. So what does that tell you? That shit don't matter. Harvard, Yale, Brown, Princeton, all of that. Unless they tell you, you can't look at a person and say, that person went to that school. So what's my point? 100%. My team didn't retain much, but I taught him more. Exactly. And that is my point, Jessica. So here is what parents actually need to do. And Nola is the way she is, because that bullshit homework from K through 5, I kept having to give her extra homework. She got in magnet school, and they actually kept up with her. Freshman year of high school, that was some bullshit. We came home. Homeschool was the most effective schooling for her because it was at her level of intelligence. And now I'm implementing the stuff I'm learning here. Dang it, Jessica, you're still in my thunder. I was just about to say that. No, it's okay. So that is the difference. So what is the job, the responsibility of adults? Study the brain, master the brain, and teach others to do the same. So your functionality of knowing how the brain functions and teaching your offspring is the best way to go. So for example, because when Nola was in high school, she used to come home for the first 15 minutes and she just did a brain dump, 15 minutes of venting. Here's what happened. Here's what's happened. We sat in her office. She said it, no judgment. And then she went on to do them little stupid ass homework assignments they had. So the point is this: if your child comes home and they have a bad day at school and they're mad, they're throwing shit and everything else, right? They're like, oh, I hate school. Most of the time you're going to say, what's wrong with you? If you live in a different house, honey, what's wrong? Let's sit down at the table. Let's talk about roses and thorns, right? So you sit down, you try to figure out what's happening. They said they're not my friend no more. I couldn't go a line leader. If you're in middle school, they gonna have the same outfit as me. In high school, she thinks she about to take my man, and whatever it is. The teacher didn't get me. I wanted an A on my AP test. Whatever it is, what is actually taking place? Hijack the amygdala. It's not the thing that actually took place. The thing that took place hijacked their amygdala. So what will currently happen? What will currently happen is you will say, well, don't talk to them. Walk on the other side of the street. Well, did you tell the teacher? What did the dean say? Do I need to go up there and get the principal? Right? That's what's actually probably going to happen. But that's not what actually happened. Somebody had a hijacked amygdala and they started fighting, freezing, appeasing, and teasing somebody. And that's what actually took place. So to tell your child, don't go back to school and talk to them, go back there and fuck them up, that's fighting. We don't get the authorities involved, right? That's not the answer. So having a neurological conversation is, okay, cool. Or they get an F on the test. I got a D on a German test before because I tried to cheat and got caught and did. So I take my D, I come home, I feel bad. What do? You're going to do some deep breathing because you have to regulate the emotions, because what happened? Cortisol showed up, the amygdala shut down the prefrontal cortex, and now you can't make good decisions. So you don't want the child to go back to school tomorrow with hijacked amygdala. You want them to go back go to the hippocampus bank of neurons and give them some new neurons so they can create better synaptic connections so they can stay in their prefrontal cortex. And tomorrow, they're going to be stronger than the person with the hijacked amygdala. Same thing happens in adult life. You got a bad PowerPoint presentation, somebody got promoted, you didn't get promoted, the things didn't happen, and now you have a hijacked amygdala. You come home, you mad, you can't stand Cheryl's ass, you want to slit her fucking tires, bust the windows out of her car. That ain't gonna solve shit. That's the amygdala. So now what is the strategic way to handle the situation? So fuck school. Pass reading, writing, and arithmeticing. And then if you're gonna go to medical school, law school, become a teacher, paramedic, and now skills trade, construction work and all that, you need to go to a school that is defined for that. But this regular shit, this English, I don't even think you need to. I think English in high school needs to be an elective. Fuck Shakespeare. I don't give a fuck about Chaucer or none of them motherfuckers. Because in reality, it's a bunch of fucking literary people going, and to be, and yes, but the alliteration, and ain't nobody at a fucking job care about alliteration. Nobody. I worked at McDonald's. They wanted their fucking Big Mac. People wanted their Frito-Lay chips. In the army, I had to make sure soldiers didn't die. Nobody gave a fuck about Shakespeare. So English needs to be in the category of art by the time you get to high school. Because it's stupid. And no one is I'm going to write a paper on this. When the last time y'all wrote a research paper? Huh? When the last time you wrote a composition about, and fucking AI could do that shit now. That's why the English people don't like it. Because they write better than them. So when the last time have you wrote a research paper? When the last time have you had a conversation about a book that you read? When the last time have you made sure you had verb subject agreement with a past participial phrase? You haven't, because you don't use that shit in your job. Well, the email, no one said, well, I got your email and you didn't have verb subject agreement, so I ain't doing shit in the damn email. Hasn't happened. So it's valueless. So what needs to take place, which I will be advocating for, is you need to take Brain 101, Brain 102, Brain 201, Brain 202, all the way until you get through college. At no point should you not be studying the brain. Because think about it this way. When everybody that you interact with knows about the brain, you can come and say, yeah, damn, somebody hijacked my amygdala. They cut me off today. I was mad as hell. I was talking to Amy and and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Now I need to strengthen. What's happening? Oh, I want to get promoted at work. I'm going to go ahead and go to the hippocampus bank of neurons so I can go ahead and get this work done and get promoted in the next 6 months. See how that conversation is different, because that's what's happening. So we use our brain for everything, and we never talk about our brain unless you got some mental illness that they want to give you some fucking medication for, or you have damage to the brain, or you ain't used that motherfucker in 30 years and now it's deteriorating. So now you're going to do some Sudoku at the damn old folks home. So your brain is the most valuable resource that you have. Your brain has you doing everything that you're currently doing right now, and ain't nobody teaching you about it. But you got to do fucking standardized testing so you can get some test scores, so the city or the state can give you some government funding so you can get some tablets. What you using to use the tablets? Your brain. What you using to function in school every day? Your brain. But you in here worried about if fucking baking soda and doggone vinegar can make your fucking science project explode. You doing science projects about water treatment. You're doing science projects about global warming and when the world gonna explode and we need to move to Mars. What the fuck does that have to do with today? What does that have to do? And damn thing. You got a 15-year-old that you ready to choke the dog shit out of, because 15-year-olds are crazy as hell, just like 2.5-year-olds, and they hijacking your amygdala by the nanosecond, and they over there saying, just give them time and space. No, motherfucker, your amygdala is hijacked, and you just got a new brain. Sit your dumb ass down and let me give you some damn neurons, acting like you ain't got no damn sense, even though you don't, because you need to learn how to get some sense. So the school system should be dismantled after elementary school and restructured so that you learn how to use your brain. Every class needs to start with, just like me, here are the brain regions that we're getting ready to use for this stupid ass lesson that the district gave us, for some standardized tests that a fucking administrator in a building downtown don't give a fuck about, but they just want it so that they can get promoted and get a better job, so they can say they're the district principal vice chair of some stupid ass title. I don't give a fuck about students at all. But if you don't care, then put in what they actually need. Because we need skills trades. We're short 200,000 welders. And you in class learning about motherfucking Shakespeare. You still ain't gonna have no welders. You still aren't going to have any emergency responders or cops or anything else because that's not what's being taught in school. That's not what's being taught. What's being taught is some curriculum that you're not going to use at all ever. So the system after K through 5, good to go. 7th through 12 through college, bullshit. Because it doesn't teach you why you're doing it. When you are doing CPR, they explain why. When you sitting on a fucking Zoom call, nobody knows why they got to be on that Zoom call. And everybody's Zoom call is exactly the same. But the experiences that we've had, me being on them in Nola's business, fucking Zoom call is the same. It's not in time. It's everybody doing something else until it's their time to speak. Yeah, hi, yeah. So if you turn to page 7, yes, down at the bottom. Now I sent this out earlier and nobody paid attention to it, but now it's really important because we're 2 weeks out. We're always 2 weeks out on a dumbass Zoom meeting. From what? It don't matter if you count fucking pillowcases, potato chips, trucks, or anything else, galls, whatever. The fucking administrative meeting is the damn same. And it's stupid. I used to do meetings in 17 minutes or less with all of the doggone hotels here because it was called the corporate circle. It can get done faster than that because I know how to use my brain. So my hope is that I live as long as my grandfather and his aunt. I got 40 years to fix this stupid shit. And yes, I'm a little bit perturbed by it because we're not using our brains, because we're not taught to use our brains, but we're expected to use our brains to excel at what we're doing when we don't even know what brain regions we're using to do the thing. So we don't even know. Now, Lola knows why she can't do acronyms now. She understands why it can't happen. And I gave her a strategy. Start with 2-letter words. You got chat? Start with no, go, do, so, at, be, and make them acronyms, because what that's doing is that brain region, those neural pathways are not strengthened. So everything associated with acronyms can't be done in Lola's brain right now. But I also have a success story for Lola to say Nola had the same problem. So I know that it can be done. So true. I took my 15-year-old out to a better independent school so I can help get her in the right direction. Yes, that's why we left high school after the 9th grade and went homeschool. And it was a much better experience. And it was the teachers with the student to teacher ratio was better. The projects were better. And there's not a day that goes by or a week that goes by that Nola isn't referencing something that she learned in homeschool. So what I am saying is we are not using our brains, and we're not taught to use our brain, but the expectation is for us to use our brains every day. How? That's why I start the lessons with, here are the brain regions that you're getting ready to use. Now, do you know what the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is off the top of your head? No, but now you know it exists. Now you know that dopaminergic is the release of dopamine. Now you know that you can create your own dopamine naturally yourself and sustain it every day. Now you know that the motherfucker that's causing all these problems is this almond-sized amygdala, left and right. All the problems that we have in the world with the adult population is the result of a dysregulation emotion center located in the limbic system of the brain, which is in the temporal lobe. That's where we are. Ain't nobody told y'all that. Tell them take some fucking magnesium. That ain't gonna create no damn neural pathway. You actually have to do the work. You actually have to go to the hippocampus bank of neurons, gather some neurons, let them wire and fire, have a synaptic connection, turns into a neural pathway, and you have to strengthen that neural pathway. I couldn't read and now I can. That's how that works. I didn't know how to read. I taught myself how to read, and now I've been reading for 11 years. That's neuroplasticity. For the people that say it's not possible, yes, it is. I'm way smarter today than I ever was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and definitely 30 years ago. I'm using my brain. Please use it. And I know that's backwards for y'all, but please use it. So the issue is, if you want to help yourself or anybody else, teach people how to use the brain. Study the brain, master the brain, and teach others to use the same. Stop having these conversations about the government, because the government is not a thing. It's an inanimate object. There are elected officials that work in the government. So say politicians. Don't say the government. Don't say the government. The school system. There are people, administrators and principals and teachers and deans. They are responsible for the school system. But if you say the institution, now you can't attach it to anything. The people in the institution, the elected officials, the administrators, the teachers, the firefighters, the people that are in your life. Those are the reason why you have the life that you have, and the life you're either trying to stay in or get the fuck out of. People with brains. That's the same. People have brains. Everybody has a brain. Very few people know how to use it effectively day in and day out. Very few people know how to use it. How do I know? Because I didn't teach you how to use your brain, and ain't nobody else teaching you whole brain experience. Nobody else is telling you be bilateral, because now you can use your whole brain in everything that you do. You can be creative and intellectually sound at the same time. Everything that you do. This is my creativity. And my information to you is coming from the left hemisphere. Together, that makes that a whole brain experience, and now you get it. And for people telling you you stupid and dumb, you can't get it, you old, and your ass is from Detroit, how the fuck you think you're going to become Dr. Donna? Because I am. Because the brain is plastic. That's how I'm going to do it. Because I got 86 billion neurons with the potential to make 860 trillion synaptic connections. How the fuck you going to tell me what I can't do? Who are you with your 7 neurons and your 2 synaptic connections? You got 1 neural pathway. You can't do that shit. You not me. I'm new to this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I'll tell you how to do this brain shit every single day. So yes, the school system sucks, and I got a doctorate in education, an EDD, so I get to say that. It is inept. And the problem with the students in America is that they are now competing on a global scale, and they are not ready. They are not prepared with this rudimentary ass system that was created archaic. So we are digital now. I remember when we made the switch from analog to digital for televisions, but we got caveman mentality when it comes to the education of ourselves and our progenies. That is the issue. Dumbass adults create dumbass children. And by that, you don't know how to use your brain. And now you have all these lofty ass expectations. How? If you don't know how to use your brain, how can you expand your life? Please tell me. And so what do we focus on in America? Money. Money is the measurement. Fuck money. I done met a bunch of rich, dumb people because they don't know how to use their brain. Have no idea how it works. They're sitting there like, I don't know, I bought it, but I just don't know where. Can't make a damn decision which wall the picture gonna go on. Where do you want the couch? I was thinking about that. What do you think? It's a $10,000 couch. Put this $10,000 couch on that wall. It's going to look better on that wall. So yes, you had the money to buy a $10,000 couch, but you don't have the neural pathway to decide which wall it's going to go on, what space in the room, which way should it sit. So that's why I know money ain't the fucking answer. It's not. Neural pathways, neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, and neuropability is how you become a bad mofo. With that being said, like I said, if the God, universe, and higher power, it is their will, I can change this. I know exactly how it can be done. Got the strategies and everything, because it's not working. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Our children are not smarter because they know how to use a fucking tablet. Give them some deductive reasoning. Give them some problem solving, and you will find out how stupid or smart your child is. That's what you're going to find out. Have them navigate it from start to finish. Make up their bed, get dressed. By the time my daughter was 9 years old, she was making up her bed, combing her hair, fixing her lunch, getting her breakfast, packing her backpack. And I'm saying, I'm leaving. It's time to walk out the door. You better be ready to go in 3rd, 4th grade. Self-sufficient when it came to that. She had her own cleaning company at 9 years old. She was writing a fashion blog because that was going to teach her how to make decisions, problem solve, search the internet, type, and put a whole succinct message together. And she had to write a blog for a whole year before she didn't have to write a blog anymore. That's teaching you how to use your brain and giving your children the ability to create neuroplasticity. Fuck some money, give them some damn neuroplasticity, and see how much further along they are in life. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with that girl. I don't know what's wrong with that boy. I taught him that. You ain't teach him shit. If you haven't had hijacked amygdala conversations with your offspring and the people around you, you are doing a disservice to them. You are not helping them. The best thing you can do for somebody is to teach them how their brain works and to teach them how to study the brain, master the brain, and teach others to do the same. That's the best thing that you can offer anybody. Don't give them a handout or a hand up. Give them some damn neuroplasticity. What I got for you, I got some neuroplasticity for you. This is your hippocampus. Every time you get into an argument with somebody, you create cortisol and you just shut off access to your prefrontal cortex. And now you're going to start saying and doing dumb shit because you don't have access to the inhibition control in the executive function of your brain. And you're just going to keep that stupid ass doom loop going. making that amygdala stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. It weighs grams. Your brain weighs pounds. Why are you letting something that weighs grams take over something that weighs pounds? Because you don't know how to use your brain. That's what's happening. So with that being said, what questions do you have about anything that I've said? And if you have no questions, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? So fuck the school system. I want it on record again. Past elementary school, middle and high school and college. Because I've seen some college courses online through TikTok and everything else. Fucking professors ain't doing shit either. Publish your peers. You can't use that bullshit. That's why I don't remember not one college. I got 3 degrees and I don't remember one college professor's name. That's how I know they didn't have a damn impact. Every teacher I'm talking about was high school or lower. Not one. And if you're thinking, you type your ellipse, your brain, your thinking emoji to let me know that the chat is still working. And yes, I do keep these almonds on my desk. If y'all like, how she already got a prop? They were bad. It was a bad batch of almonds from Sprouts, so hard as hell. So I was like, damn it, I can't. I was about to break my teeth, and I got to keep the ones that's left in my mouth. So I said, I know what? I'm going to just keep these hard ones, put them in a bag, and refer to them during the live. That's why they're readily available. And they so damn hard, and don't know ants or nothing want no damn almonds. Okay, here we go. Damn, that came up all at once. Okay. Okay. It's not, let me see. Are y'all there? Okay. Here we go. Jessica said, I'm learning a ton of things happening in the brain for simple actions wild every time, and I am confident in the way I'm teaching my children. That is awesome. Yeah, don't do what the masters are telling you to do. That shit ain't gonna work. Nola, I learned about how many brain regions it takes to make up a bed. Make up the bed. Y'all learned that Dr. Donna don't play when it comes to the brain. Like, when something does not work, oof, I'm like, this isn't working. Stop. It's not working. Stop doing it. If it doesn't work, I discard it. That's why there is no yes and no challenge, because it did not work. It's 90% failure rate. Noah said, I learned about myself that I have improved in anagrams and acronyms. Yes. And so how you have improved is because that neural pathway is being strengthened by the other work that you're doing daily. So that reading 15 minutes of nonfiction every day, if you don't have a relationship with words and you're not looking at new words and improving your personal lexicon, you don't have the vocabulary to make anagrams and acronyms because you're not looking at words every day. So even on videos now, they have the caption popping up, but those are emotional words because people have hijacked the amygdala and they're either making you feel good or making you feel bad. But when you actually read in a text, you hear your voice. So that's what's helping you develop those neural pathways and strengthening them by reading nonfiction 15 minutes every day. Okay. Lola, are you still there? I don't want to go off the live if you're still on. And I said we was going to finish early, and then I went on a tangent. So there you have that part. So my summation is the school system doesn't work. And it's not like, oh, it doesn't work, but if you get a job, then it's going to work. It's not working. People at work are frustrated with people. Everybody's frustrated with each other, and nobody knows why. And the answer is because you don't know how to use your brain. You weren't taught how it functions, so it's dysfunctional, which makes you dysfunctional. And now you want everybody else to do it. Why can't you? Why can't you learn how to use your brain? Study the brain, master the brain, and teach others to do the same. Because that shit is hard as hell. It is hard as hell when you haven't used your brain to start using your brain, because you're going to experience cognitive overload initially. It is going to be very frustrating. But so is staying stuck in a comfort cocoon, sitting in a comfort zone with your stuckmily in your stance. That's just as dysfunctional as anything else. It's not empowering, not at all. And then you just keep seeking dopamine, manufactured dopamine. It's just like added sugar and salt. It's not going to help. It's going to impact your neurological health over time. Okay. So thank you for your participation today in today's live in the cognitive fitness. Again, once a month, we will use this format as it is creating those neurons to fire and wire, strengthening the connection, and then strengthening that neural pathway. And it's all those brain regions, as you can see up here in the orange. All those brain regions are being impacted by doing these simple 10 exercises day in and day out. I do have to go get a mammogram today, so I need to go take my shower and prepare for that. And God willing, higher power. And if you don't go get your annual exams, go get your annual exams, because it's a lot of prevention that can take place by getting those annual exams. So I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. Thank you, Jessica. Different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care. Adios.